Second grade. So today we're gonna review some vocabulary from last week. One of the main ones you're gonna see this week is parallel lines. And so a good way to think about parallel lines is the two L's in parallel. If I continue those, as you can see I did, they are never going to touch. That makes these two lines parallel, because no matter how long they go, they will never touch. Second grade, who's wondering why we are learning about parallel lines? So in this example, I have three sets of parallel lines. They're actually all parallel to each other. All of these red lines are parallel because if I continued them all, none of them would ever touch. But I made sets of two, and they're going to help us make quadrilaterals. So in your work, you might have seen the word attributes. Everybody say attributes. This is a tricky word. All it means, though, is characteristics. So the characteristics of a rectangle, we know that it has two sets of parallel lines. This one and this one are parallel, this side and this side are parallel, and then this side and this side are parallel. And then it also has square corners. So we learned about square corners last week. If you put a square in the corner of it, it will fit perfectly. So you can see that this has a square corner. So the attributes of a rectangle, two sets of parallel sides, and then square corners. For a trapezoid, all you need is one pair of parallel lines or sides. So on this trapezoid, my parallel sides are the orange or red lines, the top and the bottom. If I continue those, they will never touch. And then you can look at those green lines and you see, if I continued those green lines, what would happen? And you can see, eventually, they would cross, which makes them not parallel. So a trapezoid is a quadrilateral, a four-sided shape with one pair of parallel sides. All right, and last we have the parallelogram. And the attributes of a parallelogram are that it has two sets of parallel sides or lines. So we already know that the red lines will never touch. But then we're looking at these blue lines now. And just because they're diagonal lines does not mean they're not parallel. Because if I continue this one and this one, they're just going to ride along each other. They will never touch because they are parallel lines. So this parallelogram has two sets of parallel lines or sides. And this is also a quadrilateral because it has 1, 2, 3, 4 sides. You're also going to see the words halves, thirds, and fourths in this week's packet. And all these words mean are 2 equal parts, 3 equal parts, and 4 equal parts. And the word equal is key because it can only be halves, thirds, or fourths if each part is equal.